The wind hit my face as I walked down the empty road. Dust rose with every step. I held the small rope in my hand. It felt rough, old, and heavy. I found it near my sister's body. The doctor said her bruises told a story no one wanted to hear. I pushed the hospital smell out of my mind, but it followed me. Every time I breathed, I smelled fear and pain. I tried to remember her last words. "Don't let him win," she whispered. Her lips were cold. Her eyes were wide. She looked at me like I was the last light in her world. When I reached our old house, the door creaked like it remembered me. The walls were the same color, but they felt empty. I sat on the floor and took out her letter. Her handwriting was weak, the paper wet from tears. It said only one thing. "He thinks he can hide behind the law," I whispered. "He can't." Someone knocked. I opened the door. Dr. Sana stood there, her coat wrinkled, her eyes kind but tired. She said softly, "Rhea, you shouldn't be alone." "I'm not," I said, holding up the rope. Her eyes went to it. "You still have that?" "It's proof," I said. She sighed. "It's a start. But be careful. People here protect him," I asked. "Why?" "Money," she said. "Power, fear." I felt my throat tighten. "Then I'll bring fear to him." She looked sad. "Don't let anger eat you. It changes people." I wanted to shout that I didn't care, but my voice broke. "He killed her. Maybe with his own hands, maybe not. But he killed her." She said nothing. The silence was thick. Then she gave me a folded report. Her injuries match a rope. Same thickness. Same pressure marks. "Whoever did it knew how," I nodded. "Then he's done it before." Her lips pressed into a thin line. "Rhea, you need allies, not enemies." "I have one thing stronger," I said. "I have truth." She touched my shoulder. "Truth can break bones here." When she left, I closed the door and stared at the paper in my hand. The ink bled through the page like the truth trying to escape. I sat by the window and watched the town. Everyone looked normal. People smiled, waved, bought bread, talked about rain. But I saw it, the silence behind every hello. I went to the market. Eyes followed me. I heard whispers. "That's her. The sister." She's still asking questions. I walked to the clerk's counter. "Where's Judge Calloway?" I asked. The woman froze. "He's in court. I'll see him soon," I said. She leaned closer. "Don't. Why not?" "Because he owns this town," she whispered. "He decides who breathes easy." I looked her in the eye. "Then let's see if he can breathe when I'm done." I turned away. My legs shook, but I didn't stop walking. Every step was a promise. I went past the church, past the square, until I reached the courthouse. It looked too clean, too proud. I touched the rope in my pocket. It felt like it was breathing with me. Mira's voice came back. "Don't let him win," I whispered. "I won't." A man sitting by the gate called out, "You're back." I looked at him. His face was shadowed, eyes sharp. "You knew my sister?" I asked. He nodded once. "She came here. Asked questions. Same as you. What happened?" "She went too close to the judge," he said. "People disappear when they get close." I felt my heart race. "And you?" "I stay alive by keeping quiet." "Then you're already dead," I said. He looked down. "You sound like her." I smiled without joy. "Then maybe that's good," he whispered. "Be careful." "He has men watching." "I have ghosts watching," I said. "And ghosts don't fear him." The sun began to set. I walked home again. I opened Mira's letter one more time. Her words blurred in the orange light, but I didn't need to read them. I knew them by heart. I held the rope, pressed it against my palm until it hurt. "You wanted justice," I said to her. "Then I'll bring it." To his door, the house creaked as if it agreed. I sat by the window through the night, waiting for dawn. The next day, I would walk into his court, and I would not be afraid. I walked into the courthouse with shaking hands. The air felt heavy, like I was walking into someone's lie. I told myself to stay calm, to breathe, to remember why I came. Mira's face was in my mind. Her voice said, "Don't let him win." "Name?" The clerk asked. "Rhea Calder," I said. "I'm here to file a complaint." The woman froze. Her smile fell like glass breaking. "Against who?" "Judge Brant Calloway." She looked around. The other clerks went quiet. One man dropped his pen. "You can't just—" "File that," she whispered. "You need permission. From who?" I asked. "From the court," she said. "The court is him," I said softly. She didn't answer. She only shook her head and whispered, You should go. I won't, I said. Not this time. When I turned, I saw him, Judge Calloway, standing by the glass doors. His smile was calm, slow, smooth. It felt like honey and poison. He said, "Miss Calder, please, come in. My office is open." Every step I took toward him felt wrong. His office smelled like money and lemon oil. The light was soft, gold, kind. But his eyes were cold. He said, "I read about your sister." "A tragedy, truly. Sit down." I didn't sit. "I came for justice," I said. He smiled again. "Justice is a delicate thing. Sometimes truth breaks it. I have proof," I said. "The bruises." "The rope." His hand twitched. Then he leaned back and said, "Careful, Miss Calder. People who dig too deep fall into holes." "You mean graves?" I asked. He laughed softly. "I mean trouble. You don't want to fight the law." "I'm not fighting the law," I said. "I'm fighting you." His face didn't move, but the air changed. He stood and walked around the desk. "The law is not about feelings," he said. "It's about control. Without control, we are chaos." "I think you mean power," I said. He came close enough that I could smell the mint on his breath. "I admire your courage," he said. "But courage won't save you. Truth won't either. The court is built to protect people like me." "Then I'll break the walls," I said. He smiled again, too calm. "Do you know what happens to people who say that?" "I don't care," I said. "I already lost everything." He stepped back, still smiling. "Leave before I make you regret this." "I won't," I said again. He sighed. "I'll remember that." When I walked out, Deputy Lynn stood by the door. His eyes met mine for half a second, then looked away. "You should go home," he said quietly. "You saw what he did to Mira," I whispered. "Didn't you?" He didn't answer. His hand touched the gun at his belt. "You don't understand," he said. "It's bigger than you think." "I don't care how big it is," I said. "He killed her." Lynn looked down. "Go before it's too late." I walked past him. My heart was loud, like a drum in my chest. The hallway mirrors shone with fake light. For a moment, I looked for my reflection in the polished wood. I saw nothing, only his. Outside, the wind hit my face. The courthouse doors closed behind me with a sound like iron. I walked to the steps and sat down. My hands were shaking. My heart burned. I whispered, "If I play fair, I lose. If I cheat, I lose myself." I pulled out Mira's letter from my pocket. The ink was smudged, her words broken. He said no one would believe me. "If anything happens, promise you'll tell the truth." I folded the letter and looked back at the building. The tall windows caught the sun and threw it back in pieces. It looked like the whole place was made of mirrors, each one showing a lie. Someone passed by and said, "You can't win against him." I said, "Watch me." They shook their head and kept walking. I stayed until the light faded. The judge's car rolled past, black and clean. He didn't see me, or maybe he did. Either way, I whispered, "You smiled today, but I saw your fear. You just don't know it yet." The street lamps flickered on. I stood and walked home. The rope in my pocket felt heavier. I thought about the next move, the next word, the next step. I didn't know how far this would go, but I knew one thing. The court was a mirror, and I was going to break it. I waited behind the chapel as the sun went down. The air was cold and dry. I held the rope in my hand and felt my sister's voice inside me. The sound of boots came from behind the fence. A tall man stepped out of the shadow. "You're Rhea Calder?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "You're Jonah Pike?" He nodded. His face looked calm, like he had seen too much already. "You came for truth," he said. "I came for justice," I told him. He looked at the rope I carried. "Where did you get that?" "I found it near my sister's body," I said. Doctor said the knot was tight and strange. Jonah took the rope gently from my hand. "This knot is not common," he said. "It's clean even. Someone practiced it." "You mean the man who killed her knew what he was doing?" I asked. "Yes," he said. "This is a hangman's knot, but not mine. I tie 12 turns. This has 10. I felt my throat close. "So you didn't do this?" He looked me in the eye. "No. I only hang men when the law says. I do not kill in the dark." "Then who did?" I asked. "Maybe someone who hides behind the law," he said softly. Someone who wants the rope to speak for him. The wind moved the trees. I said, Judge Calloway signed my sister's case off too fast. Jonah rubbed his chin. I've seen that man's signature too many times. He likes the word final. I stepped closer. Can you help me prove he's behind it? He sighed. If I help, I risk my post. But if I don't, I'll live with a lie. I whispered. She begged for help. No one listened. Jonah's eyes turned dark. You remind me of my wife. She used to fight for truth, too. What happened to her? I asked. She died waiting for justice, he said. So now I tie ropes for men who never learned mercy. We stood silent for a while. He asked, Do you believe in the law? I used to, I said. Now I only believe in proof. Jonah smiled faintly. Good, then listen. He pointed to the rope. The man who made this knot left a mark. Each hangman makes a small twist in a different place. This one pulls from the left. Can you trace it? I asked. Yes, but you must bring me more proof. Receipts, dates, names. I cannot hang a man with half a story. I nodded. Then tell me where to start. Start with the court logs, he said. Follow who signed what. Find who paid for silence. I said, Tomas the reporter can help me. Good, he replied. But be careful. The judge has eyes everywhere. He reached into his coat and pulled out a small card. It was thick, black, and plain, with only one symbol, a knot drawn in red ink. What is this? I asked. My mark, he said. If you find truth, bring it to me. I'll stand beside you. The law may hide, but I won't. I held the card. Why are you helping me? He looked away. Because I once killed a man who was innocent. His eyes still wake me at night. I didn't know what to say. I'm sorry, I whispered. Don't be, he said. Just make sure no one else dies for lies. The chapel bell rang. He looked toward it. I must go, he said. If the judge learns I spoke with you, he'll call me mad. I asked, will I see you again? Yes, he said. When you have proof strong enough to hang the truth itself. He turned to leave. I called after him. Jonah, what if I fail? He stopped, but didn't face me. Then the rope wins, he said. Don't let it. After he left, I stood under the dying light. The rope felt heavy in my hand. I thought about Mira's voice, the letter she sent, the word justice scratched under her signature. I whispered, I'll find him, sister. I swear it. I walked away from the chapel, holding Jonah's card like a key. The hangman had given me more than advice. He had given me direction. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat near the lamp, reading her letter again. The ink was faint, but the message was loud. He smiles when he lies. I closed my eyes and saw the judge's face. The same smile. Jonah's words echoed in my head. Bring the truth to his door. I looked at the rope one last time and whispered, soon. I didn't know if justice would save me or destroy me, but I was ready to find out. I met Thomas at the diner before sunset. He looked tired, like the truth had weight. Rhea, he said, sliding a folder across the table. These are payments. Same 3 names. All lead to Calloway. I opened the papers. The same date showed again and again. He covered the tracks, I said. Tomas nodded, but he left the smell of ink. Look here, his signature, hidden under initials. My hand shook a little. If we print this, you'll lose your job. He smiled, small and brave. Jobs come and go. Justice doesn't. I folded the papers into my coat. The air outside smelled of rain and rust. I walked to Widow May's small house. Her light was on. She opened the door before I knocked. I knew you'd come, she said. Her voice was dry, like the desert. She gave me a folded receipt. He paid off the coroner. Same day your sister died. I stared at the faded ink. You kept this? May looked at me with sad eyes. Someone had to remember. I thanked her and walked away fast. My heart beat hard. Thomas called from the road. You okay? No, I said. But I'm still walking. The next stop was the old warehouse by the river. People said Mira ran there begging for help. The metal door was half broken, paint peeling off like old skin. I pushed it open. The smell of oil and dust hit me. I turned on my phone light. Shadows jumped across the walls. My breath came short. I whispered, "Mira, I'm here." I walked deeper. There was a chair lying on its side, one leg cracked. Something red caught the light under it. I knelt down. It was a ribbon, torn and dirty. My fingers shook as I lifted it. "Her ribbon," I said out loud. It felt warm even though the room was cold. The floorboards creaked. I froze. A soft voice came from behind me. "You shouldn't be here." I turned. Deputy Lynn stood at the doorway, hand near his gun. "Lynn," I said, "you scared me." He stepped closer. "I told you to stop digging." "I can't," I said. "I found proof." He looked at the ribbon. His eyes softened. "Rhea, please. This place isn't safe." "Why?" I asked. "Because truth isn't safe in this town," he said. I moved closer. "You know he did it." He didn't answer. His jaw clenched. "Lynn," I said quietly, "you saw what he did to her, didn't you?" He looked away. "I see too much and can say too little." "Then let me speak," I said. He sighed. "If you speak, you die." "Then I die talking," I said. He closed his eyes. "Take your proof and go home, please." "I have no home left," I said. "Just this." I raised the ribbon. He hesitated, then whispered, "I'll buy you time." "What do you mean?" "Leave now, don't look back." I nodded. My legs felt weak, but I walked past him. Outside, the night air burned my lungs. Thomas waited in his car, headlights dim. "Did you find anything?" he asked. I showed him the ribbon. He stared, jaw tight. "That's enough to start a fire." I leaned against the seat. "He'll come for me now." Thomas shook his head. "He already has." I looked at my notes, names, dates, payments. They felt heavier than a gun. I thought about burning them, about running. But then I saw Mira's handwriting on the old letter. "Don't let him win." I whispered, "I won't." Thomas drove me to Dr. Sana's clinic. She opened the door, white coat still on. "Rhea," she said softly, "I got the report. The bruises match a trained knot. Jonah's knot. The hangman's knot." Sana saw my face. "You understand now?" "Yes," I said. The rope wasn't random. It was his mark, Sana sighed. "Be careful, Rhea. Men like him don't sleep when they're afraid." "I don't sleep either," I said. When I got back to my small room, I spread everything on the table. Papers, receipts, ribbon, notes. The fan clicked in the ceiling like a slow clock. I thought about Lynn's warning. I thought about Mira's voice. The words came like breath. "I can't stop." "Not now," I wrote my statement. Every line, every time, every wound. I ended it with one line. "If I die, print this." Then I folded the papers. The rope in my pocket felt heavier than before. It wasn't fear anymore. It was proof. They came for me at dawn. The street was still gray. I heard boots before I saw faces. "Rhea Calder," one said. "You're under arrest for obstruction." I laughed a little. "Obstruction of what? Breathing?" He didn't smile. Cold cuffs closed on my wrists. Inside the small cell, time stopped moving. I sat on the bench and watched dust float in the thin light. The walls smelled like wet stone and fear. I whispered, "Mira," just to feel her name again. It hurt the first few times. Then it didn't. At noon, Dr. Sana came. She wore a calm face. Through the bars, she passed me a folded note. "Medical update," she said softly. I opened it later when the guard turned away. The paper said, "The knot matches Jonah's sketch exactly." My heart hit hard. Proof. Real proof. Tomas showed up after dark. He carried a pencil and a smile. "Keep your head," he whispered. "We're printing tomorrow." He slipped the pencil through the bars. "Draw it, every detail you remember." So I drew. The warehouse floor, the broken chair, the ribbon Mira wore. I drew until my fingers cramped. When he left, the night got loud. Metal clanged and someone cried in the next cell. I closed my eyes and talked to myself. "You're not weak. You just wait." But my body shook anyway. An hour later, I heard a softer sound. Shoes, heavy, slow. Judge Calloway. He stopped outside my cell and looked in like I was a painting. "Rhea," he said, "you're making this harder than it needs to be." "I'm not the one who's scared," I said. He smiled, smooth and thin. "Scared," he said. I protect this town. You make noise. He talked about mercy like he owned it. You could walk free, he said. Just forget this mess. Start a new life. Maybe far away. I stood up and walked to the bars. You think I want freedom without truth? He didn't answer. His eyes slid away. Be wise, Miss Calder. The rope doesn't always fall on the guilty. He left the smell of tobacco and fear behind. When the echo died, I sat down again. The rope was still in my pocket. I touched it gently. It felt warm from my skin. I thought about Jonah, his quiet voice saying, "If we hang the wrong man, we all choke." I wondered if Calloway ever felt the rope around his own heart. Hours passed. The moon moved slow. Deputy Lynn came at midnight. He didn't speak at first. He just looked at me like he wanted to say sorry. "You shouldn't be here," he finally said. "Then open the door," I said. He shook his head. "Not yet. They're watching." He slid a small cup of water through the slot. "Stay strong," he whispered. "People are starting to talk." Then he left. I leaned my head against the wall. The stone felt cold and real. I closed my eyes and saw Mira again. Her hair, her hands, her soft laugh. "Don't let him win," she had said. I whispered back now, "I won't." Morning light crawled through the bars. A bird landed on the window ledge and sang. For a moment, it sounded like freedom. Then the guard banged the door. "Breakfast," he barked. I smiled a little. "Justice first," I said. When the cell door closed again, I felt the rope's shape press against my thigh. I understood something. My fear was small now, smaller than his, because men like him fear light, not darkness. They build walls and call them law, but I still had my voice, and my voice could burn walls down, so I waited for my time. And I swore to the silence, "When this door opens, I will bring the light with me." "May," I said, "did you do it?" "Yes," she whispered. "I needed you free." "How did you move the guard?" I asked. "Old bread and a kind voice," she said. "Lynn?" I said, "You are shaking." "Why?" "I was scared," he said. "I had to help." He pressed keys. The lock clicked. The cell door opened. Air hit my face. I breathed like a child. "Take this," Lynn said. "A file. Look." I took the paper with my hands. "It is a manifest," he said. "Calloway ship names." My heart beat fast. My hands numbed. "Did you steal this?" I asked. "I copied it," he said. I risked my badge. "You could lose everything," I said. "I know," he said. "I know the danger." Pastor Abel waited outside the church. He stood by the door like a quiet man. "Rhea," he said, "what do you want?" "Justice," I said. "I want the truth to live." "Do you want punishment or justice?" he asked. I held the rope in my palm. Jonah's voice came back to me. "If a man died for anger," I remembered him say, "all of us would choke," he said. "I thought of Mira," I said. "I wanted the rope." "You could hang him at night," I said. "You could cut the cord yourself," I said. Silence sat heavy on the stone steps. "Tell me what you feel," Abel said. "I felt fire," I said. I felt empty too. "My body wanted revenge," I said. "My mind wanted order." "You must choose," Abel said. "You must pick a path." Thomas ran into the church with his coat wet. "The press will print," he said. "They will print today." "Will they print the truth?" I asked. "They will print what you give," he said. Dr. Sana handed me a paper with a stamp. "It shows more than bruises," she said. "It shows force." "I will swear this," she said. "I will sign. I have a promise to Mira," I said. "She asked for justice." "Then speak where all can hear," Abel said. "We will make it public," Thomas said. Lynn folded his hands under his breath. "I am ready," I said. "But I fear the cost." "Fear is a small rope," Abel said. "Courage holds the rest." "I will not kill in the dark," I said. "I will not be the hangman," I said. "I will bring justice to his door," I said. The church bell rang like a soft warning. "Do you think people will listen?" I asked. "They might," Thomas said. "They may read." "We will place the proof at the steps," Lynn said. "We will show the manifest," Thomas said. "Dr. Sana will present her note," I said. "May will tell the old receipt story," I said. "Jonah will speak on knots and marks," Lynn said. We moved like a small army of quiet. We chose law over blood. We chose order. Outside, the town slept under money and power. I felt the secret of the judge press like a weight. My hands shook less with purpose. I am scared, I said. I am scared still. Good, Abel said. Let fear be the edge. We must be smart, I said. We must not lie. We must not shout lies, Thomas said. We must show proof. Proof, I said, is the only rope I trust now. We walked to the office where Thomas worked. He fed the press with copies and ink. I will bring the first page to the square, he said. I will stand with you, Lynn said. May will give her testimony, I said. Dr. Sana will stand in court, I said. Jonah's card lay in my coat pocket. I clutched it like a small map. Why law? I asked aloud. Because law holds a mirror, Abel said. If we break the law, he said, we become the judge. I remembered Mira's last word, I said. She said truth. Then truth will be your door, Abel said. Will the town open it? I asked. They will if you give them light, Thomas said. The rope will be the past, I said. The manifest will be the light, Lynn said. Do you still want me to tie the knot? I asked Jonah in my head. No, his voice said. Bring them to the door. I folded my hands and let the rope fall. It felt soft now. We moved to make a plan for the morning. I practiced my speech in small phrases. I kept voice short. I kept words plain. I would say Mira's name. I would say facts. The file was heavy like a promise. Night lifted its coat and let papers breathe. I slept on a church bench for a few hours. I woke with dawn on my face. I walked with people who feared and cared. We walked to the square to make a door. I held truth like a small lamp. I felt the town watch with quiet eyes. Today, I whispered, I will speak. I will not kill. If they shout, I said, I will stand. Will you forgive him? Abel asked. I will not forgive yet, I said. I need truth. Then let truth be the judge, Abel said. Let it cut clean. No more secrets, I told them. Mira will sleep in peace now. I promised always. The square turned into a court under the sun. I stood on the steps with my proofs. My hands shook, but I did not hide. Call the hearing, I told the clerk. Read it now, he raised a paper. Emergency hearing, he said. All may hear and speak. Jonah stood beside me, quiet and steady. He brought no rope. He brought a ledger. Judge Calloway stepped from the door, smiling wide. What is this show? He asked. We have a schedule. This is about law, I said. And truth. And proof, he laughed softly. You confuse rumor with proof, he said. I lifted my folder for all to see. Dr. Sana's report, I said. May's receipt. Thomas's articles. Lynn's manifest. My voice shook, but it held. These show money and power moving. These show a secret road to pain. I felt my heart pound but held my ground. My sister died, I said. Her last letter begged for help. I went to the hospital and saw the marks. I held a rope in my hand. I kept that promise to this day. Calloway brushed his sleeve like dust away. Tragic, he said. But not my doing. Jonah cleared his throat. Let me speak, he said. I know knots. I know hands that tied them. Who are you to speak? Calloway asked. I am Jonah Pike, he said. I am the hangman. I serve the law, not men. Jonah opened his ledger on the rail. Here are knots of work and trade, he said. Here are marks they leave on skin and wood. Each pattern tells a story to the eye. He pointed at a drawing. This knot rides high on the neck. This angle did not happen by chance. Someone trained tied this knot with care. It is rare here, Calloway tried another smile. So many words, he said. So little proof. Jonah lifted a sketch from Sana's file. These bruises match this rare knot, he said. The rope burned here and here. The pressure ran left to right. That is the sign. The same hand did this more than once. Deputy Lynn stepped forward, voice tight. I filed the manifest, he said. I saw payments from the judge's friends. I saw money move to a warehouse door. I tried to stop it and failed. I am here now. Calloway's face went pale, then hard. Deputy, he said, you risk your badge. I already risked my soul, Lynn said. I choose courage now. The clerk turned to me. Do you have more? He asked. Yes, I said. Widow May, please speak. May climbed the first step. Years ago, a young man died, she said. The same knot marked his neck. I cleaned the body with care. I kept the receipt because fear stayed. I give it now. Calloway lifted both hands. This is a mob, he said. This is danger to us all. I raised my hands too. No, I said. We will not act like a mob. We follow law and court and truth. Tomas raised the paper. I printed the story, he said. Names, dates, proofs. Read and judge yourselves. Dr. Sana spoke steady and clear. I stand by my report, she said. The marks were not random. They showed training and habit. They showed a pattern of control. Calloway pointed at me like I was a flame. You want revenge, he said. You want my head. I want justice, I said. I want the court to face itself. I want my sister's name said with respect. He stepped down closer to me. Careful, he said. You play with fire. I lived with fire, I said. I learned not to burn. Then hear this, Pastor Abel said. Power bowed to nothing for years. It must bow to truth now. A woman lifted her hand near the rail. My cousin went to that warehouse, she said. He came home hurt and quiet. My promise stands, I said. We will protect every witness. We will guard each family and home. Jonah closed his ledger. One more point, he said. The knot shows a teacher. A student copies a teacher. A trail links them both. Enough, Calloway said, voice cracking. This circus ends now. No, I said. This began years ago. It ends today. Deputy Lynn lifted a sealed packet. Here are keys to a room, he said. Here are letters and lists. Names of those who paid. Names of those who tied. Calloway backed toward the door with a stiff smile. I return to court, he said. We will deal with this there. Stay, I said. Let the town hear you answer. Stand with us under the same sun, Dr. Sana asked one question. Did you read my report? She asked. He said nothing, and the silence grew heavy. Jonah spoke again, slow and firm. Someone trained tied this knot, he said. The mark is clear. The habit is old. The line ends at your door. The crowd breathed in together. I felt the ground shift. Fear moved away and courage took its place. I held up my sister's letter. Mira asked for justice, I said. I brought the hangman to your door. Not to kill you. To keep the law clean. The clerk struck the bell and read the charge. The hearing opened. The town stood ready. The law looked at its own face and did not look away. Under bright noonlight. I stood at his door in cold air. Jonah said, The warrant is signed. Move. I touched the thread that once was rope. It felt like a small, steady promise. Deputy Lynn watched the gate and street. I knocked hard and waited for steps. They came slow, careful, like a lie. Calloway opened with a smooth, thin smile. His calm suit hid eyes like broken glass. He said, You again. Do you want mercy? I said, I want truth. I want justice. He laughed softly like a sick clock. He said, Bring money, not gossip. Leave. I said, I brought proof and witnesses. Jonah raised the paper like a steady bell. He said, Judge Calloway, read this order. Calloway said, Hangman, you think you scare me? Jonah said, I fear wrong death, not you. He said, Clean rope needs clean law. He said, This door remembers justice today. Calloway gripped the frame and blinked fast. He said, You will regret this show. Deputy Lynn stepped up with steady hands. He said, Sir, turn and listen now. Calloway said, Name your price. I pay double, I said. My sister begged for her life, I said. Your court crushed her voice, he said. Grief makes you blind and cruel, I said. Grief taught me quiet courage. He said, You want blood, angry girl. I said, I want truth more than blood. Jonah said, We came for clean justice. He said, Step aside. Time for cuffs, Lynn said. Show me your wrists. Calloway looked out at the street. He said, These people need me, not chaos. I said, They need law, not power. Thomas lifted his pen and camera. He said, Speak for the record. Calloway said, I served this town for years. I said, You served yourself in fear. Jonah read the charge and time notes. He said, Medical proof showed a trained knot. He said, The same angle marked the skin. He said, A hangman saw the careful twist. Calloway said, Coincidence. You push a story, Dr. Sana said. Hospital notes confirm pressure. She said, The bruises fit a practice tie. He said, You play with soft science. She said, Time and force do not lie. Widow May raised a dated receipt. She said, It links you to the warehouse. He said, Old woman, you love rumors. She said, I love memory and God. Pastor Abel said, Sir, face your mirror. He said, Confess and ask for mercy. Calloway breathed hard and wet his lips. He said, No confession. A small deal. He said, Give me escape. I named names? I said, you sold names for years. Lynn said, wrists, sir. Do not fight. Calloway turned with slow, broken pride. He muttered, you cannot do this. Lynn said, the court can. The town can, Jonah said. The rope stays clean today. He said, justice walks. Revenge waits outside. I said, I will not cross that line. Calloway whispered, you will cry at the grave. I said, I already cried there. I said, I left thread and a promise. He said, you think courage can heal time? I said, courage cannot heal, but it builds. I said, it builds a door you cannot shut. Jonah nodded once to me and Lynn. He said, take him down the steps. Lynn clicked the cuffs and checked the seal. Calloway flinched at the cold metal. He said, this is shameful theater. I said, public light ends secret power. I touched the door's warm grain. I said, this door remembers justice today. Jonah said, your words will teach. We moved together down the path. The sky held a hard silver. Birds called over the wires. I thought of Mira's last letter. I thought of hospital light and breath. I thought of home after the grave. Fear tried to rise and rule me. I said, not today. Enough. Calloway said, you will miss my order. I said, we will build honest order. He said, you will want me back. I said, your time ended at this door. Jonah said, walk steady. No more talk. Lynn led him to the wagon. The wheels creaked like old chairs. I saw faces and found courage. I kept breathing and stood still. I said, truth came home. We heal. I watched the wagon roll away. I turned and touched the door again. It was wood, but it felt holy. I whispered, Mira, we kept our promise. I said, truth and courage will guard our home. Pastor Abel said, keep mercy close and punish clean. I added, no more secret money, no more fear. I breathed once. Then I walked home, almost free. The trial ended last week. The judge sat there, pale and silent. I watched him as the verdict came. Guilty. One word, but it filled the whole room. Jonah stood beside me. He didn't smile. He only said, let him live. The court went still. I turned to him. You don't want the rope? I asked. He shook his head. Let him feel every day. Death is too short. I nodded. Maybe that was real justice. Maybe mercy hurts more. Outside the court, Tomas ran to me. Rhea, it's done. The papers go to print tonight. I smiled, tired but steady. Write the truth, Tomas. No more lies. He laughed softly. The town's waking up, finally. Dr. Sana met us near the gate. He'll go to the capital prison, she said. Life sentence. No parole. I breathed out slowly. Good. Let the walls teach him what pain feels like. She touched my shoulder. You did what many wouldn't. I just did what my sister asked, I said. Justice, not blood. Later, Pastor Abel came with little Ben. The boy ran in circles, chasing birds. The pastor said, you kept your courage. I nearly lost it, I told him. But Jonah helped me see the line. He smiled. Courage isn't loud, Rhea. It's quiet like you. That night I went to Mira's grave. The wind was cold. I sat on the ground and took the small rope from my pocket. It looked old now, just a weak thread. I carried you too long, I whispered. You can rest now. I left the rope beside her stone. I didn't cry. I just felt lighter. The next morning, Widow May brought bread to my door. You can eat in peace now, she said. I'll try, I told her. She smiled. That's enough. Jonah visited once more before leaving town. He said, the gallows are quiet. That's how it should be. I thanked him. You gave me more than justice. You gave me calm. He looked at the sunrise. Keep it. Calm is harder than courage. When he walked away, I looked at the road. The same street, the same houses, but they felt new. The town was clean again, not from the dirt, but from fear. I went inside my home. The air was soft. I made tea and sat by the window. For the first time, I didn't look over my shoulder. I didn't hear his voice in my mind. I just heard the birds outside singing like nothing ever broke. I whispered, Mira, we did it. And the light fell through the window, warm like forgiveness.